Slow pace of land reform negatively affects development in rural areas, and South Africa's Eskom restarts shut nuclear unit. With your news update, I'm Kensani Maranele. University of Cape Town professor Lungisile Ntsebeza says the slow pace of land reform has negatively affected development in rural areas. Ntsebeza has been speaking at Rural Voice Dialogue Conference in Port Elizabeth. Scores of rural activists from around the country and the Southern African Development Community countries are attending the 3-day conference. He says though South Africa has been governed by a democratic government for 18 years, little has been done in terms of returning the land to the people.
Without land, you cannot talk sensibly about rural development. And that's the problem. And that's why I started our conversation here by saying that the most important thing that people should realize is that land was taken away from them, over 90% of the land, and that land has not been returned in sufficient numbers to the people, despite the fact that we are in a democracy. So to start talking about rural development in a situation where land is still in white hands is a joke, to say the least.
Musina Municipal Mayor Carol Phiri has appealed for calm in the area. This after angry residents went on the rampage during a service delivery protest where they burnt down 2 municipal vehicles, damaged 5 police vans, smashed windows of the municipal offices and the house of a council chief whip. Residents want the Mayor Phiri and the Chief Whip Simon Madamalala to resign, alleging that they're practicing corruption and nepotism in the awarding of tenders. Phiri says they'll meet community members to allay their fears.
We are appealing to the community of Musina at large not to vandalize our own properties, because at the end we want service delivery. They've already vandalized, digged up those roads. So it's another issue that we are looking at. We don't even have a budget for that because we have already budgeted and retired them. If there is any matter, let us sit down and come and address those matters. We are their leaders. They elected us, and there's no way we can't sit down with them.
Childline says police need more formal training to deal with minors who are in conflict with the law. This was apparent when police were called to intervene in the alleged rape of a 5-year-old girl by an 8-year-old boy at Mbazwana in northern KwaZulu-Natal. Childline says police should have called in a probation officer to assess the boy and send the girl to a district surgeon. Childcare organization spokesperson Joan van Niekerk says it is disturbing that both children are still at school without help.
The little girl should have been sent to a district surgeon or taken to a district surgeon, examined. Does she need medical intervention? Does she need any kind of help from a health professional? Child who had committed the act should have been taken straight to a probation officer for an assessment. Only 30% of our police have been trained on this piece of legislation. 70% of the police said they had received no training on the Child Justice Act. They are the door. They can either open it or keep it shut. But if they're not trained to know how to open the door, it's not going to happen.
South Africa's power utility Eskom said today it had restarted one of its 2 units of its 1,800 megawatt Koeberg nuclear plant that was shut in March for maintenance, easing the risk of power shortages in Africa's biggest economy. The unit was due to return to service in early June. The other unit has been in operation at full power during the shutdown.